And we're live, but we're not.
Yeah.
And we're
alive.
Living.
Yeah.
Inane Blather.
Living.
Episode 66. We are sliving. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. But also,
okay, nerd.
We are head-bonked individuals and have about as much knowledge and insight as we can while just being,
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
So, we're in some nice, doldrums. It's just, you get to that point when it's like news, politics, life. Really, my reaction is, who cares? Just who cares?
Is that doldrum?
Yeah. Depression, doldrum, apathy, nihilism.
You're like, I don't care.
Whatever it is, I don't care. All I know.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Karl Marx.
Yeah. Man, I don't care.
You what?
I don't care.
You what?
I don't care. I wish you'd stop saying it like that, Natalie. But
nice.
Anyway. And what's your week been like? We haven't talked much.
I was really sick. Actually.
Oh, you're just coming off of being sick because you were coughing before we started and wasn't sure if you were getting sick. I think we did this last week,
and I was, I was fine, just getting kind of tired, and then, I was boring. I didn't even go to,
no, just kidding.
Exactly. That was my last week. I didn't even go to work. I just slept.
Man.
Me and my girlfriend were both sick.
A lot of stuff's
went
been
to that
going
party
around.
last Saturday, and then it wasn't COVID though. We all COVID tested before the party, but we don't have rapid tests for whatever else is out there, and so it was really, it fucking sucked.
Yeah,
actually. So
yeah, a friend got COVID. I'm pretty sure too. I mean, some has been going around, but other non-COVID stuff. It's like even if you don't have kids, that first month of the school year, everyone getting sick because it all starts somewhere and it just spreads. It's like we have a super spreader event every year. It's called School Beginning. So
the play party I went to. Yeah,
I still haven't been sick yet, but yesterday morning actually I had a massive headache and I couldn't get rid of it, and I was like, oh no, I'm probably getting sick. I know a bunch of people that were getting sick, but a bunch of Tylenol, some coffee, and a couple hits of fentanyl, and I was good to go. So
yeah,
I mean,
I was like, why am I not getting better? I'm like not drinking water, and I'm just hitting my vape constantly. Isn't that what is recommended?
Fucking
no,
stupid
I slept a lot,
F-word bitch.
That's what you think? What are you, Tim Heidecker? You think medicinal vapes are going to help you? You have like some holistic natural healer vapes to help with your, it's all coming from
elven
toxins
medicine,
from your liver, really is what it is.
It's an elf bar.
Elven, oh my God. Yeah. Well, that would coincide nicely with On Cinema at the Cinema's love of The Hobbit, but you aren't into it like I am, so whatever.
That makes me love it, that this guy with horrible taste in movies loves The Hobbit.
Not just that he loves The Hobbit. A lot of people love Lord of the Rings, but that he loved different. The Hobbit, the movie.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
Thought that it would sweep the Oscars by write-in vote for stuff that it wasn't nominated for, and he's so deluded into thinking that actually there's the write-in system so that deserving movies like The Hobbit can win their rightful awards and stuff. And I my sources say that probably at least 60% of these are all going to The Hobbit instead. It's not even nominated.
Tim Heidecker is so...
That's Greg Turkington.
Fucking...
And although Tim thinks that The Hobbit's good too, but you finally, a few years into On Cinema, it's like, I honestly think that Tim Heidecker never even watched The Hobbit. I think he only watched 10% of the movies that he has given 5 bags of popcorn to. Anyway, highly recommended. I know the show started 12 years ago, I think, at this point, maybe 11 years ago. But for anyone who wants to go on the journey with me, start at the beginning and start watching On Cinema at the Cinema. There's a playlist out there of 148 videos that can get you started. That doesn't contain everything.
And that's on YouTube.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. You look at... I don't have Tucker saying that's on YouTube because I only have him referring to our show in particular.
This is propaganda.
So, anyway, yeah.
High praise.
Yeah, I have to work in
Oh!
this type of stuff because... Natalie
because you want to hear Hassan doing that?
Yeah, I mean, that's my ringtone, but yeah, Natalie had to, I was going to say, tweet out a picture. She put it out on Insta and tagged Hassan, so he's like,
Okay, Natalie.
Just when he inevitably sees it, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure he'll just
never
be
know.
enamored.
It's crazy. Some
RM Brown,
of the guys like
if he's
Hassan.
listening, we love you so much.
Yeah, well, he's not listening. But it's funny, Hassan, he's so online, and then he's still just, when he's watching his chat in the middle of just like, there's like 40,000 people watching him, and the chat's just flying by, and then he'll just see something and like call someone out. He's like, shut the fuck up, and like highlights their comments. Like, how did you see that going by? You were talking and watching a video, and the chat's going by, and then you still found time to respond to some idiot Nazi that's like calling you out for some bullshit or something like that. It's funny.
I don't know how he keeps up with it. The first time I tried to watch a Hassan stream, I was like overwhelmed, and someone kept like paying to like have a little like the little voice.
Oh, that's annoying. I don't think he even does that anymore.
It was like, you know, a while back when I first started listening, and it was so like distracting. I was like, I don't know how he does this. Yeah. And then I powered through it because
I like,
so hot.
especially because, and you know, unfortunately, because I love the creator, but Ethan is online when he's streaming. I love his streams. I've never said, I've been on Twitch like once, and I tried watching Hassan, but I watch his stuff when it's on YouTube. Yeah. And, and he does really well with it. And anytime that there's the voice, text to voice thing, where you do a little super chat or something and it does the voice. I don't know what's with his community or his fans, it's always funny. Like whatever someone says, and he stops, and it's like someone just stepped in and said something, and it's like, damn, that was a good point, or that was really funny. So but
I feel like
sometimes it works.
Fewer chatters though, like if it's happening a lot more often, then it's like, plus, shut up.
And
like,
one of his
if
emotes,
have a lot of people to compete with,
you can have people like, I don't know if it's when people sub or they get to hit a certain emote in the chat, and so it does an audio thing, and that thing that always comes up is, oh my god, he admitted. I love it.
I was just imagining Kelsey listening to this episode, and you're like, I don't know if you're like, it's when you sub or like an emote or whatever, but it does blah blah blah, and she's gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I wish I could explain. I mean,
it's just funny,
know
the
very
vernacular
basic
that
things
if you're
about
not
Twitch
online.
streaming, and even that, it's like, I mean, Twitch streamers, that's what's crazy though, is that like a guy can be so popular on Twitch that he causes a fucking riot in Union Square in New York City, and me hearing about the story, and I'm still like, oh, well, I've never heard of this person, and I'm pretty online, or I think I've heard of him, but I've never Kai Cenat. And then it's like in the discourse about, he did like it turned into like a flash mob as he was doing a giveaway of PS5s, and he did it right in the middle of Union Square, and it erupted into like mob violence. The police started beating people up. People got hurt. He ended up in jail. They're pressing charges for starting a riot, and like because he did this thing out of nowhere, and then it turned into that, and he didn't have like permits to do any sort of like event. But at the same time, it's like, but it is just a guy on the internet doing like a meetup. But in the discourse, everyone's like, well, yeah, what does he expect? He's the most popular streamer on Twitch or something. I'm like, he is? I've never even heard him speak. And it's like, and people who watch Twitch, I recognized his face only because Hassan has talked about him. But it's that's the most popular guy. And even if there are millions, if he has like 2 million followers or something, who knows? Like on Twitch, it's like, that really isn't a lot of people. Like everything that's, but I mean, everything that's
exactly
really
a household name.
Yeah, everything that's insanely popular on the internet isn't very popular. Everyone who's a celebrity on the internet is only a micro celebrity. And it's crazy because the parasocial relationship that's cultivated from being an internet micro celebrity is way more powerful than the distant celebrity relationship that people have from being like a traditional Hollywood celebrity,
Justin
or a
Bieber,
talk show host or a musician. Yeah, exactly. It's like an internet celebrity, especially one that makes their money from engaging with fans, like a Twitch streamer or a YouTube streamer. Someone like, just look at Tim Pool. You know, he's the
favorite.
He's the smartest man on earth.
My boyfriend.
He's
fucking stupid F word bitch.
and that F word is Fabini.
Stupid Fabini.
But it's like,
Fabish.
normal, quote unquote, normal people don't know who Tim Pool is, but he's incredibly influential and he's the number one political streamer on YouTube. I mean, it's just a fact. And it's like, and that moron.
Wow.
That
what?
Moron has that much sway with that group of people where it's like,
Tim Pool
let's
is the
say
number
he's got
one political
like
streamer on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I mean, because he does YouTube exclusively.
Yeah.
So like YouTube, if you go to the streaming tab on YouTube, which sucks, I mean, some good video makers have made good videos about this, including I think Ethan is online. Pethan, he introduced me to that, where it's like, you go over here, it's hard to find what you want. They just don't put the effort into it. So the guy like Tim Pool just cleans up there. Like Tim Pool and like Vosh. Vosh is probably the most popular leftist streamer that does YouTube, because I think he got kicked off of Twitch a long time ago. And he's not that popular, you know? I mean, he only has like 400,000 subscribers or something like that. But someone like Tim Pool, it's that there's a back and forth, very parasocial. But if you're saying, you only have 600,000 fans, maybe. I mean, on its face, it's like, well, that sounds like a lot of people. It's like,
in person,
well, it's
that's
nothing
a lot.
like, look at how, sure. It's like, well, think of how many people are fans of like LeBron James or something.
Like literally
or who know
international
who LeBron,
celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there aren't going to be that many people that take what LeBron James says as gospel and will do things for him, kind of thing, you know? They're just fans or people who know of his celebrity. It's really weird. And so you get these.
It's a lot more intimate with the streamers. It feels like you do know them, because if you do stream a lot, how could you not be sort of known at least a little bit? Like you're off the cuff all the time, like you're live for a lot of hours, and it might not be exactly, I would guess some kind of type of persona or whatever, you're putting on kind of to do these things, but your opinions right at the moment, sometimes breaking news or whatever, you are it is your first reaction, and people are able to react with you and share these experiences. It's it is both ways. I feel
sounds like you're pretty into this, but
no, and it's true. And on top of that, when it's in the realm of politics and news, there's something about that where everything is politics. Everything is political, but political politics. No, everything, when you're having those types of discussions, it just is somehow more personal, because Like the way that you take it in, it isn't passive like you're watching a Batman movie. As soon as you're thinking about politics or policy or, politics in the ways that Tim Pool would talk about it and culture war shit and all that stuff. The only reason it sticks with people and it's worth debating for people is because there's something in there that gets to you personally, and so
it's like a real
it
belief,
fires people
maybe.
up more than than if you're talking about sports scores or something like that. Someone can be very well known as Scott Van Pelt. People who follow sports all know who he is, and they'll listen to him. I love Scott Van Pelt. He's the best guy on ESPN. But it's like, but that's it. It ends there. I mean, at sports, there's something that...
Because this is like finding someone like-minded.
Yeah.
Like, this is like finding your community in some of these like political things, like where it's like, this is someone who really holds the same like beliefs that I do about like society and the way people should treat each other. And they are like listening to my
and
voice
when they
too,
don't,
with these Twitch streamers.
It really, it makes you think even more. It makes that topic stick in your mind for the rest of the day. You're thinking about what you heard from Tucker earlier that day or something like that, or Tim Pool or Hassan, or something like that.
Is Tucker streaming on Twitter or X? Tucker's the number one X streamer.
X videos. Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, I think he's still doing it. I mean, he had that whole interview with Larry Sinclair, the guy who sucked Obama's cock, I guess. But
his gay lover, I'm his
and
throat
who was
goat.
it? Oh, it was Hassan. Just being like, stop burying the lead here, bro. Ask him how big it was. What was his cock like? If you're telling the truth, it's all we want to know. Who cares? This happened a long time ago.
Thinking about.
I mean, it sounds so fucking... That whole story, it's like, I wish this was true. It was an actual funny political scandal or something like that. But it's like, it's not true. What? Like this guy? Yeah, you were in... And he introduced himself to me as Mr. Barack Obama. Yeah, so this guy that you were doing cocaine with a guy in a limousine... Why would he be in a limousine? That's just what you think he would be, even though you're referring to the first-term senator from Illinois. They don't drive around in limousines and then introduce themselves by their full names when you're about to have a casual gay sexual encounter. That's not how it works. You barely use your first name, if anything.
Yeah. I just am imagining Tucker Carlson like prepping for this interview. I'm really imagining him like looking in the mirror, like doing makeup or whatever, and like his hair.
I'm sure he hated it.
Like
Tucker's not that dumb. He's just like, God, my life fucking sucks. And it's
that's what I was thinking.
And that's all on you, dude, because your life does not suck. Because you were a rich asshole, and you can just be out of public life. You don't have to do any of this.
You don't have to interview Obama's ex-gay lover.
This is your fault.
You fucking loser.
This is all your fault. You idiot.
Oh, that's so funny.
He's not dumb, but he's an idiot.
That's true.
Exactly.
I'd agree with that.
But
this is propaganda.
Yeah.
Speaking of politics,
These people are sick.
Actually, that's who I was going to say. Our
little you're going to talk about
dopey baby.
Talk about the N-word, Donald Trump.
Yeah, I just wanted to read this because talk about this a lot, like how it can feel like satire is dead. Like some of the news article headlines and stuff you read can be just absurd, or just some of the things that people say. It's like if it was in a movie, it would be really funny satire or like too stupid to be believable.
You'd
honestly,
be like,
some
it's
of it.
only a movie. Yeah. at Drew is Gooden.
Yeah. So there was this interview, Meet the Press, and he's saying, I don't care if abortion is regulated at federal or state level. Like, he doesn't give a shit. So this is about like abortion, and like he's repeatedly asked if he would sign a federal abortion ban at 15 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah. Like, would he ban it federally at 15 weeks? And he says, No, let me just tell you what I'd do. I'm going to come together with all groups and we're going to have something that's acceptable. I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years. I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. And then he said, both sides, and this is a big statement, both sides will come together. That's what he says is a big statement.
Oh, thanks for giving us that big statement. Whoa. I'm glad that you prepared us for it, too.
What a politician. Whoever thought of that? Both sides, this is a big statement here. Both sides will come together. What I think is so incredibly funny about the highlights from this.
Just like, this is a big statement here.
Yeah, it is amazing how lacking in substance all of that is. It is so like anything.
Yeah.
It's just
this is a big statement here, followed by no statement whatsoever.
And like you know what I would do? I would get both sides together and we'd get to peace. Like literally,
like, not only is it not saying anything, it makes me believe it even less just by his past like big statements like that, where he's like him about we're gonna have the best healthcare. Oh, it's gonna be everyone's gonna love it. It's gonna be perfect healthcare. Everyone will be so happy with their healthcare. Nothing, absolutely, not even trying. And it's like instead you just half-assed repealed part of Obamacare and then just didn't even touch the subject your entire time in office, even when you had all three branches of government. So
he's just so it's just so like incredibly vapid. I don't know, just like lacking. Like we're talking about like.
It's like hollow sales tactics, and it's not even done well because he's old and his brain is even more mushy than ever. That's what I would think.
Just, it's so funny, like, reading some of the stuff, like, about their COVID response plan was, like, a Word document that had, like, nothing typed on it. It was
it's like a shared document and everyone's scared to start. You go to it in like Google Docs and you just see like 3 or 4 like different icons up there that are everyone's there. There's like the cursors are sitting there flashing with their names and everyone's like
who's gonna go first? Yeah. They're just so
someone starts typing like Webster's dictionary defines response as
that's
It's like this is all we need to say.
Socialism is when no car.
And voters will eat it up.
Yeah. I just am so unimpressed, I guess, by it would be one thing, what?
I just saw that Piers Morgan has a piece in editorial
on the NY Post.
Yeah.
Hell
and I love that he calls him Pinocchio Joe. Damn, how come you came up with that, not Trump? Because that
more
one's
like
sick.
Pinocchio Joe.
Pinocchio Joe.
Yeah.
From the Poconos.
I just feel like it would be, I can see how people fall for propaganda, obviously, like with different
This
like
is
fascists.
propaganda.
Dictators. You see that it's like well crafted arguments with like the logic is there if you start with the logical fallacy to begin with about whatever, immigrants or whatever. But they have like some really good speakers. Look at Hitler giving these speeches with like real like power and passion and vigor. And like
cutting to those personal things and, with scapegoats and stuff like that and building up years of resentment.
Trump is just like, this is a big statement. We're going to come together. That's about like as deep as he gets. He's like he doesn't have
and I'm the first
anything
one.
to say.
I'm the first one to say come together over me. So I'm the one who came up with that.
Priming the pump, I came up with
come
that.
together right now, came up with that.
He's just such like a stupid person that I really don't get it. Like I just don't see how people like genuinely don't cringe when they look at him, like, and when they hear him talk and like the things that he says, it's like, listen to what he's saying, like read one of the quotes out loud for yourself and see how it feels. Like
they love it. Chicks love it. No, these MAGA people, it's rough. It's like, I don't want to say that some people are just beyond saving, in terms of political literacy,
you could
stuff
say
like that.
If you had said
it's like Trump
people
needs to
can't
be gone for them to start or something. Like, he has this hold on people. There's just those few things that he's been so right about, like including when he started off, just knowing from the get-go, I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue, I wouldn't lose any voters. I mean, he knew he was right. He did it that way. He had already cultivated.
I know. Right now, people are like, I would vote for him if he was in prison.
Something. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, if you have national GOP leaders saying, like, oh, well, yeah, we'd still support him. It's like, what? If he was a felon? Like, since when?
That's
like, it's like, just weird. But I mean, and there are people that can analyze how all this works and stuff, much smarter people than myself. And there's probably a lot of really interesting things to be said there. But on its face, it's like, it's just weird. I don't know. It's not normal. Like, I'm not calling out to any of our listeners, but this guy needs to go. All right, that's all I'll say. No, it's like Stavros Halkia says in his special. He's like, but I mean, if someone wants to schmashionate schmezos, he's like, I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, why can't the stochastic terrorism ever do anything good? But so. I don't know about this Piers Morgan article.
About Pinocchio?
Yeah. He starts off with an Abraham Lincoln quote.
Yes. Starting strong.
No man, said Abraham Lincoln, has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. Joe Biden is a terrible liar. He's just talking about how he's a terrible liar. He lies on a terrible scale, and he's terrible at lying. I don't know. It's just such a bad tactic. If you're going up all the stuff against Joe Biden, it's like, no, you need to. I don't know. The GOP sucks, right? But they have this stranglehold over a big segment of the population or over the voting public. But it's like they have so much that they could be doing. I mean, am I just totally wrong, or should I be running a fucking campaign? Because it just seems like there's so many missed opportunities on so many levels. It's like, it's because all of these people that are in politics and in charge of this stuff have it been in there long enough or are now in the political arena because they are so disconnected from normal working people, from normal voters, And it's like, and you have all these voters, they're just going to vote for GOP candidates and stuff. But to swing anything, like, you have to actually think about what people want, what people are thinking about and stuff. And it's like, the biggest missed opportunities with Joe Biden is that he doesn't fucking do anything. Like, I was talking to a non-liberal acquaintance, more of an apolitical, so they're, right wing by default kind of thing. Yeah, where it's just like, I don't want to get into any of that. But anytime, I mean, I'll make jokes about Joe Biden because it's funny and because
he's hashtag not my president.
Because around here they land for sure. But just by virtue of being so anti-Trump and anti-GOP or whatever, just made some dumb joke about Joe Biden. They're like, man, I thought what's wrong with him? I thought you were a big fan of Joe Biden. And I was like, I've never been a huge fan of Joe Biden. I liked him when he was vice president because it was funny. But it was like, you get a great story about
vice
him.
President. Who fucking cares?
About him waxing a Trans Am in the White House driveway. That's fun, and he seems like a nice guy. Whatever. Who cares?
Vice president is nothing.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's like, who's a senator?
Needed a
I
white
don't know.
guy that's cool enough to hang out with Barack Obama.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like, gosh, I thought you were. I was like, and I said, see, here's the thing. I was like, people like me are so disaffected, disaffected voters that don't like Joe Biden because he doesn't do anything and he hasn't followed through on these promises. Meanwhile, people on the right spin this huge narrative about him being the most evil, lying, crazy dictator president ever. It's like, so they have to make up their minds. I was like, because if they're going to get anyone else from the right, all of that isn't going to matter. It's like, because the reason a lot of people are upset is because inflation still hurts your pocket. I mean, you haven't had your loans forgiven. You don't have home buyer credits. You don't have tax cuts for poor people. You don't have any sort of movement on health care. You don't have any of this. And what sucks, of course, minimum wage, all of these things. It's like
legalizing marijuana.
None of this has happened, And it's like, unfortunately, it's probably true by most metrics that he is the most progressive president ever. And it's like, that's disgusting, because what the fuck has this guy done? Like, I mean, I haven't seen, any help with policing in America, with education access, with protection of the LGBT community on a federal level. Legalizing marijuana or descheduling it, blah, 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 one thing after another. And it makes you think, it's like, what has this guy done? And I know he has done some things. And there's like the Build Back Better, there's infrastructure stuff, but all of that is it's already 2 levels away. Like, anything that affects a normal day-to-day life, like a project gets approved and something does help people, and money flows to certain places, it's so removed from, like, hey, this is thanks to Joe Biden. This is Bidenomics.
Yeah, thanks to Biden, you didn't actually cancel our student loans.
Yeah, stuff like that's what I think is about. Immediate, like, there isn't like this weird intermediary thing where Democrats have to go through this song and dance about, well, actually, because he signed this bill that no one really knows the name of because it's some bullshit that was passed in 2022, it enabled this program that funded this program in your state, which actually got that job for your nephew. It's like, I stopped listening 10 seconds ago. Fuck off, It's like,
I don't care about that stuff. I mean, that stuff should be funded already. Yeah, good job for doing your fucking job.
Doing the bare minimum.
Wow,
is
congratulations.
Not good enough. Yeah. And it's like, well,
especially when it's like,
well, and Kamala Harris's husband.
Wow, what a piece of shit.
So I don't know, because his name's Doug.
Yeah,
so,
I think that
he needs to drop
especially
out.
Like coming off of the Trump presidency. It's like, Joe, man, you had all of this actual like kind of like support, I would say, to like do fucking
you got, like,
something.
80
and like we would have been so
it's crazy.
Incredibly happy to see you literally do anything. You could have gone down with such a great, like, people have been feeling like, thanks, Joe. We really needed, at least, if it's not back to the status quo, maybe a little bit better than that, but at least it's not Trump. Thanks, pal. We really appreciate you winning this election and like doing something, maybe raising the federal minimum wage, maybe doing something, one thing, maybe, and then getting the fuck out
all up to
and
him,
letting us have a new president.
I mean, the problem is Congress, but
I don't know. Trump seems to be able to get tax cuts done and all this kind of kept like judges and this and that and whatever, all this kind of crap.
Because
this incompetent moron seems to be able to get stuff done.
But judges, that's still removed from vote. I mean, it's very important, but something like the minimum wage or a health care plan
the crisis
or something.
At the border, doing something about that, maybe all this stuff that people fucking hated about Trump, all these like the longest sustained protest in American history. Could you do something about police reform? Maybe one thing.
Well, what I'm trying to say
down
is
at the border,
stuff that he can't even fix, even if he was out there blabbing on about it every day, like to no avail, it would still feel like war. And it's like, if he was just like, no, we gotta raise the minimum wage to $15, we gotta do that, or if it's like we need to, I mean, student loans, who knows with that whole charade, but
kerfuffle.
Yeah, but it's like because then he did, and it just got overturned, and it's like, oh my god, you guys suck.
So don't you guys have like maybe like some of like the best legal minds working
No.
for you? Isn't this the United States fucking government, not under the Trump presidency?
But anything,
like maybe have some like competent
even something
people
that he
there
couldn't
to, like,
do, just out there, at least acting like he's doing it on our behalf. Would do so
it
much.
And let the GOP fuck us. Come on, do something.
Yeah.
Like at least pretend like you're fighting for us, like you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
but he's
something.
a senile old man.
I know.
Who just really, I mean, I would understand if he just doesn't care that much. He's gonna fucking die if he goes to bat as hard as like Bernie does or something like that. He's just gonna fucking die. Like, and then we're stuck with Kamala Harris. Kamala. I was just trying to remember. It's like, wait, I've always pronounced it correctly. Which way do you pronounce it?
It's like Kamala.
Kamala. Yeah,
Kamala.
Yeah.
Have you seen the show Veep?
Yes, I've watched every episode. Of course.
Yeah, that's so like it's interesting how you never really know what party they are, and like what really like the politics are exactly in that show.
They're Democrats.
Because they are, but it's not like exactly the same kind of. I mean, they are more so for sure, of course, but they don't talk about policy that much.
Yeah, but the people
besides,
she
like,
butts heads with are disgusting conservative old white guy creeps. So I figured she's a Democrat.
She is, but it's like what I find interesting is like how they don't really have to talk about politics to really show how it would fucking be to be in these halls of Congress and stuff, and how it's all just this bullshit. Like how Trump is saying that in an interview. That's the stupid kind of fucking discussions that these idiots are having behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Like they're not saying anything. They're not thinking about the American people. They're saying all these empty platitudes and double-edged kind of things and backroom.
Yeah, when it's not empty platitudes,
bullshit.
it's just straight up like corruption. Yeah, where
it's just so
all
pathetic.
self-serving bullshit when it's not completely empty corporate speak nonsense. So yeah, it's probably halfway. It's like, you know, with Poochie the dog episode of The Simpsons, where it's like, yeah, we need a whole new paradigm shift, you know, someone who's proactive and stuff. And he's like, yeah, proactive paradigms. Aren't these all just kind of corporate lingo that stupid people use to sound smart? And they're all quiet. And he's like, I'm fired, aren't I? Oh, yeah, definitely. But it's like just calling that out. You're not saying anything.
Yeah. Don't you worry about the election. Let me worry about blank. No, it just, the way that, and like even Trump saying that, like how incredibly devoid of any sort of, it was like literally he could have not said anything and it was like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like what
it
it
would
really,
have said more if he just stared at her and not said anything.
Yeah. Like what it really means when they are being these stupid, useless losers, like how incredibly important their jobs really are, how unbelievably important it is to do a good job at a government position, because what you're saying, all those things, even if they're removed, like it does have an effect on us.
Yeah.
Every single decision they make has a indirect, direct effect on all of us, and they don't fucking take it seriously.
Yeah.
The ex-president of the
true.
United States, the leading front-running candidate for the GOP, answered a question like that, like saying, this is a big announcement, we're going to come together.
Exactly.
The leading candidate, he was already the president.
Yeah,
that fucking
former president.
moron.
An absolute idiot.
They're absolutely, like, when I'm saying, like, Tucker looking at himself in the mirror, he's probably hating having to do this interview with Obama's throat goat, you know, and all this kind of stuff. But it really, I just
Mr.
really
Larry
wish,
Sinclair.
you know, there doesn't need to be a smashmation. More like people need to be kidnapped and taken to a room where they just have
you
to
ever
stare
seen
at
the
themselves
Barbie
in the
movie?
mirror.
They need to be
And
deprogrammed.
Yeah, and look at themselves in the mirror and ask over and over again, what am I doing with my life? And how am I helping people? And I would really be interested to see what these people really truly think about themselves. What Trump really thinks about himself. What Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Tucker Carlson, AOC. I mean, like, do you think, like, are you doing your best at this job that you gotta be giving 100% to, because genuinely, like, lives are in your hands. You guys need to, like, really take this seriously. All this stupid bullshit and all this partisan back and forth and all these sound bites and all this kind of attention you can get, like, these are people's lives. Talking about abortion bans, like, you're talking about women and girls dying. Down at the crisis at the border, you're talking about 10-year-old kids having extreme life-changing trauma because you're kidnapping them and removing them from their families. You know, LGBTQ stuff down in Florida. I mean,
those political wins where it's like they did the child tax credit thing and they immediately pulled children out of poverty and fed hungry children. It's like, that's not just a political win. That's a tangible common good.
Children
like, and
getting food,
you
guys.
Couldn't do it again. Why didn't you just do it again? And the people that complain about it, or about it costing money, or that need to have that sort of partisan bickering or whatever it is, the answer is fuck those people. Fuck them.
I know.
Like, literally. I mean, not
like
literally,
in Veep,
or literally.
No, it means literally.
I mean, that's
figuratively
the T-shirt
too,
that I wear out in public is "ass rape your local Republican." No, no sexual assault of conservatives, even if they're bad people. But
that's what, like, in Veep, like, every single decision they're making, it's like, well, what about the polls? What are the the numbers, and how's this gonna, like, electability
Gary
and all that
Cole's
stuff? And I just
character,
Kent, whatever. I really. Yeah, it's like, this is gross, guys. Like, you're talking about a win when you're talking about child tax care credits or child care tax credits or whatever. Yeah, it's like, this is not a win. This is like people not wanting to fucking kill themselves, guys. Like, this is like a huge deal. People's lives are in your hands, literally as in figuratively. That because literally means both. But, like, you have, like, it's just gross, like, the amount of attention that they want and all of this, when it's really,
well,
like,
you know,
real life.
Well, that was a really nice one. Thanks, Inane Blather.
Well, they have
thank you.
They at least did get something done, which people are understandably discussing, and that is the change in the Senate dress code. Did you hear about that? And people are really upset because it really seems like they did it just so John Fetterman can fucking wear his basketball shorts in the fucking Senate. I don't know. I mean, it's like, no, that can't be it. I was like, and even if it is, that's funny. But it's like, come on. Who fucking cares? Oh my God, who cares? But yeah, and I mean, it's right here in
pressing
New York
issues,
Post.
right? We don't have like an epidemic of unhoused people or anything like that.
I didn't even know that this was a word, but it's right here in the headline. Fetterman wins Senate dress code battle and beclowns the institution.
Clowns.
John Fetterman's Senate legacy is now set. He's the guy who made it possible to dress like a slob.
Nice.
I like Fetterman. It's like, oh, it's too bad that, like, I don't know what happened to him. He went through all those medical issues, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is not, like, cognitively able to do that exact thing that you're talking about. Like, crafting legislation and engaging with people while the lives of your constituents are in your hands, because it's like, he was such a great candidate. He was a little more in touch with working people, mayor of a small town, said all the good progressive things for the most part, and then he immediately, like, has 2 strokes or whatever. I forget. It's like, that sucks. But oh my God. What the Missouri Compromise was to Henry Clay, what the Second Reply to Hayne was to Daniel Webster, what the Civil Rights Act of 1957 was to Lyndon Johnson, Carhartt sweatshirts and baggy shorts will be to John Fetterman. Good Lord.
My God.
But it's
Dude,
like,
get a life, whoever's writing
it's already bad enough that they even have this dress code. I mean, I see people argue about it on X.com, formerly Twitter. Because like, even people that are like liberals, supposedly, where it's like, yeah, you're one of those. Because it's like, although I understand because it does seem like that's inappropriate dress code or blah, blah, blah. People should still want to look professional. It's like, fuck off. Like, all of that is always rooted in, like, racism, sexism, stuff like, I mean...
I hate the word professional.
Yeah, women. When was it that women were even? It was changed so that women could wear sleeveless tops in the Senate. You know, I mean, that was not long ago because it's all based on why do you think everyone has to wear?
Before, though, because there weren't women in the Senate, so they were like, we never thought about it.
Yeah, and then they're like, wow, no, she can't wear that. You know, once women are in there, but self-indulgent sloppiness. So. For his chamber dropping a dress code that required senators to dress in business attire when appearing on the Senate floor. Number one, why is that a rule? Because this is not business. This is legislation. So I think the problem is that too many of you people are business people.
Business. That's why you're leaders.
Yeah. Fetterman briefly complied with the rule by making the sacrifice of putting on a suit and tie after he was first elected. Then he reverted to his standard uniform that makes it look like he just arrived after sitting on his couch surrounded by empty pizza boxes watching football games all weekend. It's like, good.
Fucking rude.
I know, they're so mean, but it's just like, good. Like, everything you're saying is good. Like, oh, so he's actually,
who really identifies
you're just
with
so
that?
mad that you're not
The
a
American
man
people.
of the people. Fuck you. Yeah. It's like, because you guys don't even know how football fucking works. Like, there's probably one guy in the Senate that knows how football works besides John Fetterman. I don't know. I would just guess that he does. But just even in this joke, it's like, yeah. And that one guy, Tommy Tuberville, is probably the dumbest man in Congress. He sucks. He's a fucking moron. I mean, I don't know what it says, but it says something. All right. That's all I'm going to say. And then I'll just step away from that.
These people are sick.
But, yeah, there's business casual, then there's Fetterman's garb. It wouldn't be acceptable at many fraternity events across the country. I don't know what that means, although...
So you've never had any friends, obviously.
Well, there is something there because, yeah, there's fraternity events, and you're forced to wear... I mean, you could be in the... it's like, it's halfway hazing. Under the guise of, well, you got to be young professionals too,
halfway.
But it is also like, you're forced. Fridays is the opposite of casual Friday. With some fraternities at WSU, you have to wear a shirt and tie on Fridays.
Classist.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're already in a fucking majority white rich kid thing. You're in a fraternity, but. Philadelphia Eagles fans dress more carefully on game days. No, they don't. They don't. Straight up. No, they don't. You're wrong.
That's too much hyperbole.
If he showed up at almost any service or working class job in America dressed this way, his supervisor would give him a stern talking to and insist that he have more respect for himself, his colleagues, and his customers. Number one, I'm not sure if that's true. Number two, this isn't a service or working class job in America. It's the Senate. I don't understand why you have to be so high and mighty about this. Either connect with people and worry about the actual job, quote unquote job, that a senator has working in the Senate, or worry about this fucking facade, literal facade that's done through... what's the word? But
it depends.
Just the but yeah, this facade that's made through, these polite, just rules and dress codes and all this crap. The word completely escaped me. What I'm trying to say, but I'm stupid, but I'm still
sure.
smarter than Tommy Tuberville. So,
and whoever
but as
wrote
it
this.
happens, he's only a United States senator, so he can wear whatever he damn well pleases. Unironically, agree. When the history of the decline of American institutions is written, the jettisoning of the Senate dress code may not be more than a footnote, yet it will deserve mention. That's it. Oh my God. And then referencing Mark Twain and just taking it literally at face value. And it's like, referencing the greatest humorist in American history and not seeing the humor in it and taking it, saying it has long been remarked that it matters how we dress. Mark Twain is sometimes said to have written, in what is actually a paraphrase, "Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society." Which, it's funny. It's Mark Twain.
He did that whole quote.
No, clothes make the man is where it starts. Yeah. Naked people have little or no influence on society.
I know.
That's a
I always thought that
paraphrase
was a
of the
funny
quote.
one, but it's funny that he said that.
Yeah. And it's a joke.
Like he doesn't
and
get
it's
the joke.
Not true either. I mean, look at society. Naked people are very important.
Yeah. What would we do without them? Yeah. I just feel like it would deserve mention. It's like, dude, someone is killed every 12 minutes in America with a gun. It's the number one cause of death for kids. And you're like, this deserves mention.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, he doesn't have a true Windsor knot in his tie.
I hope you get ass cancer and die, you son of a bitch.
God. Yeah, the business suit as we know it had its
loser.
origins in the court of British King Charles II.
God.
Well, then I'm already against it.
Exactly. Anything that was going on then, I don't want to be a part of it. That's the beginning of our national anthem.
It has nothing to do with that bullshit. This is America, where we say
the N-word,
and
people have to flush their toilet 15 times.
So, and we're not worrying about British King Charles II. Then the 19th century British trendsetter Beau Brummel, another Brit. These absolute F words, made an important contribution by simplifying the outfit after various twists. Okay, yeah, let's end this article with a history of the business suit. The unraveling began several decades ago with the advent of Casual Friday, which eventually spread into casual everyday.
Oh my
what
God.
Are you,
see if this was
this
satire?
Guy 150 years old?
This would be so funny if he was trying to be funny. Like, it's excellent satire.
Wow. Let's see. I wonder if we... Ooh, this guy's like defending Mike Pence. That's funny. Rich Lowry. That's the guy who wrote this. Fetterman. Biden's border bungling.
But why did he start back then with King Charles or whatever, King whoever? Why not start, I don't know, 1,000 years ago when people used to gather the government, like people wearing togas.
Why
in
don't we
Greece or
wear
whatever.
togas? I mean, I think we still have reference to that type of attire in Judges,
like Justice. You know, like
I mean, what?
Like our Lady Justice holding the
isn't
scales.
It fucking
she's like
weird that judges wear that shit?
I agree.
I thought it was weird enough when I graduated from college, because I graduated from college when I was 34. But it just drove me crazy because I just hadn't even given it a second thought. I was just glad to get my diploma. It was cool to go to the I mean, the only reason I went is because our Mom wanted to be there and see it. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll walk. Otherwise, I want the diploma and to feel like I did something, But then it was nice. All these people, it's a real happy time. But I never even considered like the fact that, number one, I was supposed to dress nicely under it. I'm like, There's like a gown covering your whole thing, and it's just like everyone's got ties and stuff. I was like, I don't remember. They're like, well, didn't you do that when you graduated high school? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and
it's like 15 years ago.
and then the whole thing with like, you have the tassel on one side, and then symbolically you turn it over to the other side. I'm like, this is all nonsense. Why are we all going with this? Who cares? Like, it's literally in here. You get to learn the dumb facts about how this is all part of traditions that go back to the 13th century. Then why are we doing it?
Yeah.
No tradition should last that long. Nothing.
Not that one. Yeah.
And it's like, it was interesting learning why then, that whole robes is a thing, but it only made me like second guess and think about like, yeah, it is fucking weird that judges wear robes and that we wear robes to these things. It's like, when you think of some secret society sacrificing child sex slaves, they're all wearing robes like this, It's like, if I want a robe like this, it better have a hood so I could say I'm a Jedi, or something. I don't know.
Nice.
But
I feel like so much
weird.
of that, though, those rituals like they've lost so much of their meaning. Like maybe back in like the 1200s or whatever, like it's this small group of people having this really meaningful ritual after all of this. But now you get this disgusting gown that's so ugly and like expensive, and you have like all this stress going into like this huge ceremony. I think graduations are so unbelievably fucking boring. I didn't go to yours, but we hung out.
No, I don't care.
Yeah, I was like, I told Mom, I was like, I'm not going. I think they're so long, they're so incredibly boring, and it bums me the fuck out because what you're saying. Yeah, it's like this is an incredible celebration. Look at what you guys have accomplished. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like
yeah. Well, I think
it's like okay.
I think that perspective really beclowns the institution. So,
in the footnote of history,
it really makes us look like just a bunch of
head bonked individuals.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to, resolution, I'm going to use the word beclowns more.
Beclowned and bespeckled.
We've really blathered a few weeks
glasses
in a row here.
Inanely.
Which I'm glad, because I have things written, but it's like, I don't know. I'm glad when you can bring something else up. And yeah. Well, I have something I want to talk about, but we can do that some other time. So
we're out of time.
Yeah. Do you think BoJack Horseman is a white man? No, because he's a horse. But he has he's this also fits this archetype of a person in power, in a position of power as a white man would be with those privileges. But it's weird because white men exist in the BoJack Horseman universe, but he's not one. He's a horse.
Didn't want it to be
He's a
too
brown
nose.
horse, actually.
But he is a brown stallion, actually.
Yeah,
so I think maybe
male.
That's what makes the difference.
So he has that.
Yeah.
And
that's all that it takes.
I don't know. He seems very white coded.
Well, he's Will Arnett.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I just know BoJack Horseman. So that documentary about him.
I want
to
meet BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. Okay. Good thing that we're thinking on the same track.
He's my hero.
Do you get it? Because horses run on tracks. Do you get it?
Run on a track. Do you get it? Do you get it? Yeah.
Well, speaking of,
that was, and I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
Nice.
What's
better? Getting better.
Give me a positive thing.
Ooh, a positive thing that we got going on. Yeah, that's a good. That's a good question. What we got going on here? Nope. I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah, it's only 1 minute long. Just enough for everyone to be like,
"This is lit. This is absolutely lit."
you know, a lot of their work is like documenting human rights abuses as
Positive.
well. So they do. That is positive that they're there to document it because of all of our supporters. That's what makes it possible.
But really, what you're saying is
democracy simply doesn't work.
Yeah, and the way that we do it, no, it really, really doesn't. So let's see. What we do latest. Come on.
Oh yeah, you haven't
give me
been
something good.
To
I haven't been to work
in a week.
I haven't been to work in like
sorry.
a week and a half or something.
True.
So yeah, I haven't even looked at my Slack messages. I haven't done anything.
Okay, well instead, I made a decision. I'm going through an ideological shift, and you know, I'm a nationalist now, but I'm a world nationalist. I'm gonna get a weird tattoo about it. I'm a workers' chauvinist in favor of the laborers' nation of Earth. No extraterrestrials.
That's where we draw the line.
No, it's still nationalistic because it's still exclusive. It still excludes people into the out group, but only
so we can have a common
it only
enemy.
excludes billionaires and aliens. This is the workers' nation.
Isn't that kind of the same
international
thing?
proletariat is my nationalistic identity.
You know, I would just expand that out to a universal nationalism.
Oh my God. If those
Oh my
yahoos
God.
from Titan come over here, no jobs. No jobs
Who knows
for
what's
them.
gonna happen?
Yeah.
No.
Mental illness is when you're right wing.
Oh my God, that was so loud. Oh no. Okay, well, I love you. Shout out to RM Brown.
That was a really nice one. Thanks, Inane Blather.
Yes.
Our Lord and Savior.
The only person who listens to
Inane Blather
is me.
Is RM
No.
Brown.
No, shout out to everyone who listens.
Zach and all that.
All of our fellow
head
you
bonk to individuals.
folks.
Yes.
We love
Yes.
ya.
And everyone feel good. And we'll talk to you later. Hit me up. I might not respond,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm bad with that.
And I control the Instagram, so
Yeah. No, just text
Sorry.
me. Say hi.
I have my notifications on. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, okay. I love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.